All right, so I think it's time to get started. I have given some time for people to join, and I'm seeing people are still joining. So we'll continue, and people can join and they can hear the recording as well later if somebody misses it or if somebody wants to go back through it. So, welcome again, everybody, to the Think Python AI demo. So, today I'll be talking a bit about how this program is structured, what you expect out of this program to learn, how it is going to help you at work if you're working or if you're looking to get back to work or if you're a fresher from college, as well as the most important piece, which I've kept for the last. So definitely stay till the last, wherein I'll show you how we integrate Python with AI and especially why Python is so important when we are talking about AI at work. So this is where we actually go much in detail, much in depth, and try to understand how companies in today's world want you as engineers, and I'm saying as engineer, which could be a software engineer, a developer, a QA person, a DevOps person, a script guy, anybody, an automation person, a fresher. Uh, and
మనకి ఒక్కడాలిగా మీరు ఎందుకు అబ్సల్యూట్ గా నీడ్ పెట్టుకున్నా అంటే కనుక క్రియేటివ్
sorry, I have to mute. Please be muted, guys. So, like I was saying, that's where I will discuss how companies today want you guys to be using Python with AI at work. Because I know everybody is talking about, oh, ChatGPT access is given to me at work or Copilot is given to me at work. But again, there's so much of things that are available and tools that are available. But I think the bigger challenge is people still don't know two things. One, how to use those tools, and second, how the company wants engineers to use those tools to be able to integrate AI. So, of course, this is not going to be a very long demo. I'll try to keep it short, but these things need a lot of detailed concepts to go through. So that's why I'm going to tell you today why Python is still so relevant and so important in this aspect. And then I'll take you through two demos today. One would be more on how you can integrate multiple tools together using Flask. I'm sure most of you would have heard. And CI/CD pipeline also I'm going to show you that is something relevant to DevOps. But again, in today's world, everybody is doing DevOps. It's not like it's specific people are only supposed to do DevOps and specific people are only going to do automation. It's like everybody's job is overlapping with these things. So we need to understand those basic criteria. But my emphasis is more on how we leverage Python to use in our day-to-day work, especially when it's the era of AI. And we want to embrace AI, not make it a foe, but rather make it a friend. So just a few rules. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I have planned the Q&A after the whole hour so that people can stay back to ask those questions, but feel free to put them on chat. I will from time to time keep looking at those and I'll try to answer them during the demo, but I want to cover more of the content today. So I'll try to keep them for the end. So that is in a nutshell about how we're going to spend the next 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. And now let's go ahead and quickly get started. So welcome again, everyone, to this demo. And quick intro for me. So my name is Ankit. I've been working in many capacities in the last 20 plus years of experience that I have. I'm currently based out of Boston, Eastern time zone. So it's about 9:10 for me. I'm sure everybody is from different time zones. And again, I thank you for people, especially on the Eastern time zone, because this is the dinner time and Friday evening, and everybody has a Friday evening. So I appreciate it. Other than that, for my introduction, so I have done, I have been a part of almost every organization. When I say organization, I'm talking within the organization, within the company. So I started as a developer, and then I moved into an end-to-end product engineer role, which basically was a very important role for me because it gave me a good picture how what I learned in my initial years as a coder would help me use at a very big customer side when I moved to US about 15 years ago. And then I've also done QA roles. I've done partly DevOps. I won't say fully DevOps because my view on DevOps is very different. And if you ask my past students, they would also probably agree with me. But having said that, I do work with DevOps teams a lot. And currently, I'm working as a senior architect, where I'm mostly into driving how we can leverage AI and Python and other related stuff to our products and our portfolio, basically. So that is in a nutshell. And of course, I love coding. I have been doing this from a long, long time. And I know most people have this question that Ankit, why is it so charming, or what is it so important to know about coding, especially in the era of AI, Chat GPT? And that is my best part, and which is what I'm going to keep it towards the end when I show you that demo as well. So I said I'll keep it brief, but sorry, it still took me 3 minutes. Um, I have first question: how do we need to have programming language knowledge or expertise? So Sudeep, yes and no. It also depends about what level of expertise do you want, what level of role you are in. I would say if you're a managerial position, if you're in a director position, if you're in a VP position, not so much. I won't call it an expertise, but of course, it always helps because as you're going to see very soon, that automation is one piece of Python which is going to help in your personal life as well, not just professional life. So it really depends on where you are in your professional journey. If you're somebody who's starting out as a fresher, I highly recommend it. If you're somebody who's trying to jump from one role to another and trying to get more relevant AI and coding related, or even DevOps or QA automation related jobs, then absolutely yes, there is absolutely no way in today's world you can do without any coding language. And that's perfectly fine. You said you're fresher in Python. I should have answered that before, or let me answer it now. This course will treat everybody as if you have no coding experience. Forget about whether you're knowing anything in Python or not. And my idea is to teach basics very, very clearly so that you get to understand those when you get to the advanced concepts. And that is something which you should ask me, that why this course, why another Python course, why going through a live course? Because this is what I'm going to talk about in everyday class. And then there are many benefits that you get, which you don't get, let's say, through YouTube or Chat GPT or Udemy. There are thousands. I mean, thousand is even a very small number. There's zillions of courses that are available. But there are a few things that I like to highlight before I go deep dive today, that you get as part of this course. Number one being, it's live, it's not a recorded video session. You show up every day, Monday to Friday. It's at 9 p.m., which also will be shared a little bit later in the Eastern time zone. And then you work with me every day. But the most important aspect of the course is I encourage everybody to ask me questions, a lot of questions. I don't say this that, oh, you have to ask the questions only at the end or something like that. But I want it for two purposes. One, you should understand the concept right then and there. And second, I have seen. Oh, I also forgot to mention this, that I also do a lot of interviews for my company. So my role being an architect is generally my not role, my round, I should say, technical round is generally the last one. At my company, it's more like a gating round. So I see people every day, and I have seen this over the years, that sometimes there are two sets of people where people know the actual answer, but they're not able to articulate it well. And there are others who don't really understand the question itself, what is being asked. So these two are something that I guarantee no ChatGPT in the world, no LLM in the world, no YouTube, no Udemy can teach you, because I have so much of experience in this. So my class starts almost like that. We start with the topic and then we keep going deep down, and then I always talk about interview questions a lot, how to answer those questions, what the interviewer is actually trying to ask, because they will mask the real question in a very different way. And I've been doing this for many years. I did initially in India, and then I started under my brand, Think Python AI, last year. I have so many Google reviews and so many past student reviews. Happy to share those to anybody who wants to see the actual testimonials, maybe towards the end and later as well. So, Okay, I have another question. So let me come back to the questions a little bit later because I know I have a lot to show today. But feel free to keep putting your questions. And if you're a little bit shy kind, then you can always DM me in the chat. So when you do new chat, it will either give you the option for everyone or just to me. And I have that window open, so I'm definitely going to look at it. I'm definitely trying to answer that. So I'm not going to go in detail what is Python and why learn it because I think everybody understands what Python is. But let's talk a little bit more about a little later why learn it in today's era. That's also one of the question on the chat. And of course, I'm going to give you some live hands-on demo. Like I said, there will be two demos, so stay till the end. The last part or the second demo is actually where I showcase you why Python is so important to learn, especially when you're working with AI and how to integrate your stuff with AI. And then, of course, we have different learning tracks, but I'll just try to keep it simpler today. Again, why Python? It's the easiest language to learn. There is no two doubts about it because the inception of Python itself was by Mr. Awesome just to help him understand C language better in English language. So that's why Python till date is the easiest language to understand. Somebody asked earlier in DM to me that, Ankit, do I really need to be a programmer? So programmer is a very heavy term, but again, at the same time, Python is just like we're talking in English. So as long as you understand English well, you can learn Python. There is absolutely no two doubts about it. That is the easiest language, and that is the reason. Another fun fact, guys, most people don't know this. Today, Python, or not today, actually, for many years, Python has surpassed Java, has surpassed every other programming language. That doesn't mean that I'm saying that Python alone is enough or Python alone can be a full stack. But again, that is for another day to debate. But having said that, knowing Python is one thing, being able to write the code in Python is another thing. And then there's a third thing, which is being able to understand and read the code in Python. Because if you read the code in Python, even if you have not seen that before, you would understand 30 to 40% of it just by looking at it. But that's not the goal here. We need to understand how to write excellent code in Python because that is one of the jobs or one of the roles in your jobs, depending on whichever area you are in, that is going to keep you going in the AI era and sustain your job. Of course, there's no need to mention too much about it. It runs everything, websites. I don't know if you guys have been through my website, but my website, I developed it myself. I implore you to go through this later. A lot of this code has been developed completely in Python Django. If you see this radiant glows and different style of these things, they've all been done in Python. And of course, it's not like it's very easy to do it, but I don't work as a web developer at all. Most people think when I used to show this earlier that, oh, am I a web developer? No, I'm not a web developer at all. But Python makes it so easy. And I've been working in Python for more than 15 years now. I think it just comes naturally that I can pick up any framework today and I can learn it myself. Also, when I started earlier, I started as a C++ developer. So a lot of my uh, teaching style and when I'm teaching a particular concept, when we go through the classes, I keep giving references to C++ or Java. So that will help if somebody already knows it. But if nobody knows it, that's not a problem because, like I said, we start from absolute zero and we go all the way to advanced and core concepts. So, yes, stock bots as well. So most people think Python is very limited to websites and other stuff, but actually not. You can do a lot of stuff with Python. You can automate a lot of stuff, and that's what I was answering earlier. Even if you're from a managerial background or somebody who doesn't do a lot of coding every day, Python and automation can help you save a ton of your time, especially automation. So, as my free time hobby or whatever you can say, as my surplus time consumption thing, I kind of work on my automated trading bots as well. And I have robots which do a lot of stuff, even for these courses. Like part of it was agentic AI, where I was using it to market my course. And most of you have come through Facebook or Meta ads, and some of you have come through my friends. So all this, a lot of this, not all this, a lot of this was already handled by automation. And that's why I love Python. Everything in Python is so easy to automate. I generally say this to my students in my class as well. If you end up doing something every day the same way, it could be as simple as opening 10 websites, but they do not change every day. Like I do it when I have to go through my stock trading and stuff. I look at some particular 10 websites which I want to look. Now, of course, you can argue that, Ankit, you can go to bookmarks and open it, but I just wrote a single double click program. I double click on it every morning and they automatically open it for me. It just saves me maybe 10 minutes. But again, 10 minutes, when you keep adding throughout the day, it really gives you a lot. Now, on similar thing, again, I'm not trying to sell anything here and I'm not a trading stockbroker guy at all. It's just for my own personal use that I use. But I have so many scripts that I have running. I have a cron job running on my laptop, which basically runs every hour and it sends me an email based on whatever stocks that I like to look at if they have broken out due to some reason. So that gives me a heads up that okay, this stock is really going doing right well today. For example, Meta was doing really yesterday well after the earnings. So I got those tickers right before it even jumped. So those are the things anybody can build after you understand how Python works. So the scope of Python is basically unlimited, and again, it's not just automation. That is just one use case for it. Another use case, and most people don't even realize this. We use Python in almost so many things around us. So I'm pretty sure everybody use either Google or Google Home or Siri or Alexa or some sort of an IoT device. Most of them have a Python inbuilt engine, which is called TTS, text to speech. And you can actually do that. And I have put it in my website as well. By using TTS, you can read out the uh, articles back to you and you can talk to it. And that is actually going to be the future because right now, if you see ChatGPT, for example, it's like you give prompts to it by you type. But soon, or I should say, in very coming soon years, we will be able to actually easily talk to it. So all that is being powered by Python itself. So Python is one of the engines or one of the backbones that is driving AI to where it is. Now, again, it's not the only thing, but it's a very major factor. And this is not a fun line. This is actually true. So we also run kids batches. And I'm surprised when I talk to those kids. Today's kids in fifth grade are so smart and they already know a lot more than us. So it's very impressive to see how easily they pick up. So Python is the most easiest language to even work with in today's world. Of course, like I was just telling you this, I'm not going to show you this right now. If time permits, maybe towards the end, I'll show you what I'm talking about automating the repetitive tasks. And yes, so these are our tracks. We do not do this anymore because we had very less people turning up for this, and so is this one right now. Both are on hold, but again, if anybody is interested, they can always ask Sachin or any of our admins, Crystal or Sachin, whoever has been talking to you. Or if not, then their numbers will be shared at the end of the slide. You can talk to them directly. But again, mostly it will be how to understand, how to learn Python, and how to implement using for QA or automation or scripting roles. And again, also a gateway to AI. Could be agentic AI, could be intro to AI, and then this is obviously a different track altogether because most people don't understand AI is just more like a buzzword, but machine learning is the main thing. And if you want to get too much into details, again, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about when I go to the demo, then you should look at understanding AI and ML in too much of deep details. But that program alone takes 3 months. And right now, I'm only talking about the Python, which is about 5 weeks, give or take. Sometimes it goes 5.5 weeks, 6 weeks. But we'll try to finish at 25 classes around. So basically, there are 25 classes, depending how the group is organized and structured. And when the long weekend or something comes in, it takes about 5 to 6 weeks. Again, this is something I was just answering that anyone can join, beginners, moms, especially I've seen people who want to get back to work. They have had breaks in their career, especially moms. And again, it's not a magic pill. I wish there was one, but there is no magic pill that you learn this program in 5 weeks and there you go and get a job. It is a learning process. It's a learning curve. It takes time. And here I always talk about in all my demos about one of my previous students. He's my favorite of all time. His name is Satya, and he was also in one of these webinars once, and he asked me a very simple question that, Ankit, I have, I think at that time he had 15 years of experience, non-IT completely. And he said, what do I need to do to be able to get into IT? And his testimonial is the first one on my website and even on the Google reviews if you take a look at it. So I told him that this is exactly what you need to do, and this is way before ChatGPT even came in. This was at least 7, 8 years back, man, or maybe 10 years back when I was teaching him and others. And he is still my favorite because all I told him was show up on every class, do all the assignments, and do the most important thing, which is code optimization, which is again a very important USP that you get with me. No GPT, no Udemy, nothing is going to teach you that because most people don't even understand that, and that's where the FANG companies come into picture. And if anybody's wondering what is FANG, it's basically Facebook or Meta, Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, and the Teslas of the world, which are the big ones. And their interviews are generally not easy to crack up. So, like I said in the beginning, I do a lot of interviews, so I know exactly, or I shouldn't say exactly, but I know a lot more in detail what these interviewers are looking for. So I trained him. I told him this is what you have to do. Even after the course is finished, he continued talking to me. He continued doing a lot of projects, and he gradually built his profile. And that's what I'm trying to say. Trying to say there is no magic pill that overnight you're going to get a job. And today he's a software engineer in LinkedIn, one of the most prestigious companies. So it's a journey. This is like the first step you're taking. So I want to be very clear since beginning that this is not something like a fast pill which you do for 5 weeks and boom, you get a job. Of course, if you're already in a job and if you're already doing good, this will really help you get ahead of the job. Like I have had some students in the previous batches which actually found that they were clueless when the other people in the teams who are younger to them are talking code in Python because they didn't know anything in Python. And now they feel more confident. So again, depending on where you are in your journey, that will make a lot of difference. But I'm speaking for somebody who's a fresher or a beginner or a mom who's trying to come back after a bit of a break. Then I have those students as well. That's what I'm telling you. Work with me. That is something you also get as a benefit. I work directly with everybody. It's not like a broadcast thing or something like that. Everybody talks to me directly. Everybody sends assignments to me directly. I do not want you to be sending it in the group so that I tell everybody, hey, individually, that, hey, you can do this better. And like I was talking about code optimization, which is very, very, very important. I can't even stress enough. Your Amazon interviews, your Google interviews depend a lot on that. I know people are scared when they hear about Lambda functions, when they hear about things, but that is something I teach one full class. If you go to any Udemy or YouTube, they will just talk in like 5 minutes. And that is a problem because understanding syntax is one thing. You don't need a course for that. That you can do today. ChatGPT is very good with that, or any LLM is very good with that. But you need to understand how you're going to develop your thinking capabilities, how you're going to develop your logical capabilities, how you're going to implement those together. And that's where you can use ChatGPT as your friend. But again, it's more like a companion rather than something to depend on. So that's very important that everybody understands and uh, basically joins this program with that sort of a mindset. And that will really help you, especially if you're a career switcher or somebody who's from non-IT background. All right. So, of course, this is another thing that I've seen, and I'm actually going to launch another series, but that's more on the non-technical people side, which is most people are very curious how to use AI. So, how I have integrated that piece here, which also goes at the end towards the demo, is how you as a software engineer integrate with AI. That's completely different how people outside this space integrate with AI because ChatGPT is for everybody. I mean, a person who's not from engineering background is also using ChatGPT. They have free versions. They have very cheaper versions nowadays with $8 and everything. People are using it for so many things like plan my trip, plan my route, and things like that, which is great. But again, we as engineers have to think differently. Otherwise, that's why I keep hearing from people, oh, AI is taking jobs because people are not ready to adapt. That is first thing that people don't understand. And second, there's a big gap between what engineers think how to use GPT, which is more like prompt engineering, like you give right prompts, you get the output, and that's what you think. But that's not how companies are expecting you to use ChatGPT. And I'm sure most of you who work would have already seen that the companies have started giving you some sort of an LLM enrollment already. Either it could be ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever. So now the onus lies on us as engineers how we're going to make use of it beyond the prompt engineering part. And that's what I'm going to show at the second demo as well. So again, if you ever said to yourself, "Hey, I want to learn Python because I want to do so much good in AI space or in general Python development space," and again, by development, I don't mean just developers. I said that in the beginning, but some people joined late, so I'm going to repeat this. Whenever I say somebody as a developer, I'm not talking about just coders. I'm talking about QA people, automation, script writers, bash script writers. When they go through this course, they are amazed how much you can do in Python. Then again, people who are in DevOps, of course, a lot of the examples and the second and the first demo that you're going to see would also rely a bit on that. And as I was saying in the beginning, today's world, in today's companies, the companies are expecting you to know DevOps stuff already without going through any sessions or any courses. And to be honest with you, it's a lot of tools that are available there. But if you understand the one piece which integrates everything, and that is Python, one of them is Python. Of course, there are others, but Python being the easiest. So that is the use case, and that is where companies really want you to excel. And yeah, so this is more some of examples. You can take a screenshot of this. This is Sachin, and I think I forgot to add Crystal. We have two admins, and we have a big community. So if you decide to enroll with us, you will be a part of the community. You will be a part of the WhatsApp group, which is solely for your cohort, for the people who have paid. And then I think it's going to be starting on Monday, so it's February. So it will be a February batch, and then we'll go from there. But definitely reach out to Sachin. He has some promos that he's always running, and it always works. So I'm going to come back on this a little later, but really quick, if you look at it, the first question itself sums it up. I am a DevOps, QA, non-IT, shell script, Java coder, doesn't matter. No prior coding absolutely required. Anyone with a zeal to learn is what I'm looking for. And of course, you should have a computer and internet connection to hear this. Everyday class, 9 p.m. Eastern, that's my time zone. If you're in any of these time zones, please take a look at it. And I don't expect anybody from India to be joining in this one, but if you do, then it basically runs this way because of the time difference. So for US people, US and Canada, I know some are from Canada as well. Monday to Friday, this is your time. But if you're from India, then it is Tuesday to Saturday, 7:30 a.m. And this batch has been the same way for I think 8 9 months that I've been running back to back. And believe it or not, there are many people who join from India as well. Of course, every class is recorded and it will be shared with you right after the class. This is another space where I use AI a lot. So all of this is automated, and Sachin will explain you when you actually enroll. All you have to do is just give a good Gmail ID and that's it. Rest everything is automated by agentic AI that I have created. And of course, the source code that I show every day will be shared right away in the WhatsApp group and if any PPT that I'll be using. Be assured, plentiful assignments, completely live training, like I said. And Sachin is always running some offers, so please feel free to reach out. Again, this is his number. Quickly gonna take a pause, take a small water break. You can ping him right now, or you can text him later. It's totally up to you. Text or WhatsApp. It's not just WhatsApp. He's available on text as well. Any other questions you guys have, please feel free to put in the chat for now. All right, on the time check, I am trying to be keeping a close eye, but I think we started 5 minutes late, so I think I'm pretty close there. So this is the actual capstone project that you guys will be building and publishing in your GitHubs at the end of the session. And I know the arrows have gone off. As you can see, ChatGPT is not always perfect. I asked ChatGPT to make one to be able to make it faster. But just to explain a little bit before I show you the demo, So this is something which is very important in everybody's day-to-day life, especially when they're working. And the reason I use scraper is because scraping is something which is very commonly used in Python. And this is not just web scraping, which is like scraping from a website and doing that, but something more like if you have a huge log file, for example, or if you have a huge file, text file, and you want to scrape only important stuff out of it. Because and this is something you can actually propose in your working environments if you're already a working engineer as well, not a fresher. I mean, fresher once you get a job, but until then, you can show it in your GitHub. So by saying that, hey, we can share some reports which are easy to understand, which look beautiful using all of this, and we can share it to senior leadership, for example. They don't want to look into huge log files. They don't want to look into huge data. That's our job to look into it and filter out the data that we think or they think is more relevant to them. Take a very simple example. You run a test case, you want to mark, you run 100 test cases, or you run a suite which has about 100 test cases, and out of that 50 pass, 50 failed, or 80 pass, 80 failed. But again, they are not interested in why they failed. The senior people, right? They would not care. They care less about it. That is something for us engineers to figure out. But they still want to see how the runs are going. They could be daily runs, they could be weekly runs, they could be anything. And this is something I also did in my company. So I'm talking from experience on that perspective. So now what you do is, these are huge files. Let's say 20 or 10,000 lines of file. This is not Python, by the way. This is just regular HTML file. I wish I could have an example and show it to you, but that's not the case. Now, out of this 10,000 lines, for them, only thing maybe is like 5 lines or 6 lines that matter to them, like where it failed, what failed, and if it passed, how many passed. Now, it's your job that you have to scrape those particular data out. And so this is what this engine is doing, scraper.py or Python file. It will scrape out the relevant data that you think is relevant for everybody. And then you create a web server called app.py, which basically churns it. And there is something in between as well, which I kept as a secret, you can say, which is Pandas. So Pandas is a framework which is used heavily in so many places. And that's why I brought in Pandas here. So what it can do, it can take this data, it can modify it, it can beautify it, it can make it pretty. In fact, Pandas has something called as Prettify for the same reason. And then you push it to your app server or web server. From app web server, you put it to another dashboard, because generally how people like is, they get an email, they should have something to click on, they double click on it, and it opens in your web browser. And that's why you see HTML page. Style CSS is very interesting. One of my previous students, I think in August batch or September batch, asked me to add this, so I added it. And actually, it enhances the look. That's all it does. But at the same time, you get to understand how these different tools work together. So this is where our framework called Flask is, which is what I'm going to show you in a minute. And this is Pandas. This is our Python code. And then the most important piece, when the whole thing is ready, you want to show how you're going to test it. So that is one very important piece, and that goes even to what do I say, experienced people, that, and it doesn't matter whether you're a developer or QA or anybody, that you should be able to explain by testing your code. Meaning, if you've written 10 lines of code, then at least 5 lines of code should be written for testing using code itself. And that is what I'm going to show you, and that is what you learn as well. There's a utility in Python called PyTest. It's one of the most frequently used utilities in most of the companies. There are many other, but PyTest is the most easiest, and you'll see why. Because when you run it, if you code it properly in Python, it gives you a very beautiful report. It exactly tells you in green, like 2 tests passed, 10 tests passed, 3 failed, they show you in red. Where it failed, also it shows in red. So all that code is saved. You don't have to do it because somebody's already written in this utility. All you need to know is how to use this utility. And that's what I'm going to cover as well. And then again, this part is specifically for people who want to see how it is being implemented in DevOps in everyday life. Because again, like I said, you could be that engineer who could be proposing this at your office, which is a very, very valid use case. I did the same. And what they need is basically that you have to create a CI/CD pipeline, which simply means even if there is a minor change, and that change will happen almost every day, then it should automatically kick in a CI/CD pipeline, build a Docker file or a Docker image, and then you can use that Docker image into any deployment. Could be Kubernetes, could be Helm, could be anything. So I'm going to show you quickly with Kubernetes as well. One important thing that I want to say, which I'll be using in the capstone project as well, everything is free. I never recommend anything that is paid ever to you. So just follow everything during the classes as well. Follow the links that I share, and you will never ever be paying anything. And that is why you see Minikube here, because Minikube is an application which allows you to deploy Kubernetes for free. And like I said, this is the last part that I want to talk about, the second demo. So let's quickly go through this. And before I go there, let me quickly share the contents. All of this will be shared to you. Don't worry about it. I'm just talking really fast because I know I'm just gonna skim through this really fast because I know I have to finish a lot of stuff today. So like I said, we always start from very basics, right from what are the variables and stuff, exactly how they work, everything in detail. And this is very, very important because your basics should be very strong. Only then, so all of this is part of that, only then you can understand this, which is the main crux of Python. The simple reason being, everything that you will look today and ever in Python has some or the other way of inheritance. That is one of the most important pillar of Python for OOPS. But you can't understand any of this until you understand all of this in great detail. And this is where I feel, and again, I'm not trying to devalue anything, but this is where I feel YouTube videos or Udemy videos are very casual about. And that's where they fail, according to me. I have seen a lot of them when I was learning in my time too. And even till date, I keep seeing them. Because what happens is people think Lambda is very difficult or the functions are very difficult, code optimization is very difficult. But again, it all boils down to if you understand how the basics are there and how it is actually written inside Python. That's a very important aspect as well. So which we talk about in great detail. But I just wanted to show you a brief idea how we do this. And oh, this is probably an old one. Yeah, I think it's an old one. Sachin forgot to send me the new one. Let me see if I quickly have it. I'll show you the capstone project. If not, then we'll just go there. And don't forget, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in chat. I'm going to answer them at the end. Okay, here it is. Yep, this is the project that I'm going to demo for now. Let me fully expand it. This is the one I'm talking about. So you learn a lot of things, especially you learn a lot of understanding how do you integrate multiple frameworks. Because always remember, when you start working or if you're already working using Python at your work, this is never gonna be a straightforward, hey, what is this? What is that? If I do this, do I get that? No, it is always going to be a lot of integration with different frameworks. So that's why I've added Pandas here, Flask here, PyTest, like I was talking about, and then of course Dockerization, and that stuff is more on the DevOps side. All right, so let's quickly go. I'm not going to go too much in detail of the code today because that's what we're going to learn when we learn the whole project at the end. But just to quickly showcase the demo, or before I go to demo, anybody has a question? This is the moment you can actually unmute and ask while I take a sip of water.
Hey, Ankit, I have a question.
Yeah,
Would
Sudeep.
you also cover a part of Terraform, like how to use Python in Terraform, building Terraform functions?
So no, there's no concept like Terraform functions. But I understand your question. So again, that is a very specific question to a very specific engine, right? I mean, that way AWS has different ways. So in fact, I have it open. This is something I used to show earlier in my earlier demos. If you want to, this code is very simple. If you look at it, you simply opening a connection to AWS EC2 instance. So my point is, let me come back to your question, is basically Terraform is very specific to Google. And then there are so many different platforms. So no, I don't cover that directly. But after this program, you actually don't need me to cover it. Like I was saying little 5 minutes ago, right? You might be working in Terraform, somebody might be working in EC2, and nobody can cover every frameworks. But the capstone specifically and the learning throughout the 5 weeks enables you to work with any framework. Could it be on Terraform? Could it be on OCI? Could it be on EC2? It could be anywhere, any platform. That is the whole idea of learning object-oriented programming. If you see this code, most people will understand looking at this code that, okay, you're trying to create a session and you're trying to create an opening a session between you and EC2 instance. But if I ask them to explain it as if they were explaining it to an interviewer, nobody would be able to explain it. I see one of my previous students, maybe he can. But the whole idea is, so if you look at this here, you're creating an object from Boto 3 class. What is that? What is class? What is object? All this is very important to understand in object oriented programming world. Something similar would be different in Terraform. I personally have never used Terraform, to be honest with you. But GCP and all these are different platforms. So not directly, but of course you get the knowledge to do it yourself. And also one more thing, when I start the capstone project, I also show how you go ahead looking at the documentation, the relevant sections, where you find those, how you approach those. So those things are very, very important. I hope I answered that question, but if not, let me come back in more detail later.
No,
So
that makes sense. Thank you.
yeah, sure. Thanks, Sudeep. Um, and I really appreciate people who unmute and ask, and that's what I keep telling in my classes also. Make sure you ask the question by unmuting, because that takes out the hitch of asking the question or even interacting, and that is the perfect first step before you get to an actual interview. All right, so let's quickly start the first demo. So first demo, I'm just going to show you this part where I'm going to show you locally if or how I am going to scrape. So quickly going back here, as you can see, this is a website I'm trying to scrape. So let me bring this in the Google here. I think it went on my other screen. There it is. So now imagine this as your log file or something which you want to do at your work. Could be a blog, could be anything. But all we are trying to do is we're trying to get only these quotes, the actual quotes, not the metadata, not the data around it, not these stuff, not these tags, not this, not this. I am just interested in the quotes itself. That's it. And as you can see, the name itself says quotes to scrape. So this was created by Python community actually for the sole purpose of practicing. So this is what happens here and the app.py. So first I'm going to show you how I'm going to test it, or I'm going to run it locally. So I have this, and the first question that should come to your mind is when I click on it, what happens? It's basically going to open my dashboard, which is here again. So as you can see, this one, the first one was this, and you can see the quote is coming here. How I get all of this, the blue color, this is all your style.css and pandas doing it, which is the next step I'm going to show. But again, I can't show you and explain the code right now because we don't have time for this, and that will take at least 3-4 days, which is what we do in the final project time. But I'm just trying to show you from here, we scraped all these and how it becomes this. This is the whole thing that happens in this layer of the program. So the dashboard.html that you're seeing with the style.css, the style.css is basically, where did it go? So style.css is basically responsible for this dark blue coloring and all that stuff. You can change it within just microseconds by changing the color right there. And of course, it gives more styling to it. And this part, the code and the code coming in this as one row with the serial number, this is exactly what is being done by Pandas data frame. So this is how I integrate multiple frameworks together, and I demo and I show how it runs when all of them come together. So Beautiful Soup is being one of them also that we use because we want to make it nice and interesting. So that's how we get, in fact, Beautiful Soup is the one how we get the codes, and from codes, just the text part. Again, I don't expect anybody to understand this, and if you already understand this, you don't need this course because that means you are an expert in Python. Oh, what happened? So then, of course, this is just running it locally. Next step would be to get this. So this is the Flask app that I was talking about in the Flask framework, which is already running. Next thing, before I go to Docker, I want to show you the most important utility, which is PyTest. And the way you run it is you create the test cases simply different in a different file, sorry, and you simply run it, and there you go. You get what happened, what are the functions that were run, passed, failed, and again two passed in what time. If you want to quickly go ahead and want to see if it failed, I'm simply going to manually fail it. So now one of my test cases should fail, and clearly it tells you where the problem is. So you understand how to use PyTest, and this is what I was talking about. Look at my code. This is my only code because I'm getting everything from not here, because I'm getting everything from PyTest framework. And PyTest is the one who is giving me this beautiful coloring and the short test summary, one failed, one passed, the time taken, and where it failed. So you don't have to respin the whole wheel. All you have to do is you have to understand how to use that framework. And there is no AI till now here. The AI demo is a little bit after this. So I just want to clarify, this is complete hardcore Python that you learned during the project. And this is your actual project. This is what we'll be doing step by step. I'll be writing the code with you guys, and you guys will be using this, enhancing this, and probably going to implement it in your GitHub and showcase as your one of your projects. And of course, you will continue doing more and more projects. So this is the part where we have all of this inside locally running on my laptop right now. But this is of no use, right? Because when I can't share this to anybody, even if I did the scraping, even if I beautified it, what is the point of it? And that's where Dockerization comes into picture. If you don't know what Dockerization is, don't worry about it. This is not the time I can explain that, but maybe later. And also, that is one part of the DevOps. That is something you will understand eventually when you start working, if you already don't know. And if you know, then that's really great. So now we can always go ahead and build a Docker image. So I'm going to quickly do it. And scraper caps to dot. So it's already done. The image is created. So how I can check it? So there's a utility from Docker. Again, everything is free, where you go to the dashboard, and here is the one. It says 9 seconds ago, literally it just started creating the image, and this image was created. The benefit of this image is now I can use this image and I can take it anywhere, and I can run it in Kubernetes and Helm or any sort of development deployment, and I'm not just bound by my laptop. I can just simply run it using Docker itself if I wanted to. So I think you give port 5100 because I'm using 5100 and capstone. So this will start right away. So as you can see, now you're getting another IP as well, not just your laptop, which also you can use. It went to my other screen. I don't know why. And there it is. So this one is through Docker, this one when we were running it locally. So right now, our same code, what we extracted, what we scraped is actually running inside a Docker image, the image that I just showed you. There are many ways you can directly pass this Docker image to somebody, or you can use any containerizations. For example, we can use, what is it called? I'm forgetting the name, but for example, Kubernetes as well, where we can use this image. But before that, I want to show you the real part where I was talking about the CI/CD pipeline thing. So let's say I just made a small change. Let me make one change here. And yeah, so I just did that. See that. This will trigger automatically. So of course, this is all done in the backend, but this is only one-time setup that we do. And whenever you make a simple change in your code, it will automatically trigger this pipeline, which is what I'm going to show you now. Demo on Jan 30. All right, let me bring my uh, workflows in my GitHub. That also has my website actually. There it is. You will see a CI/CD pipeline kicked off. Hopefully, there it is. So it's just got kicked off. It is still running. Let's quickly go and see. So build test actually passed, which is where we provide everything. For example, setting up your Python, running dependencies, all this has been done because that's what you need, and then only you can make a actual image which will work on any environment basically. If you see, it's the same PyTest that I was talking about that has been done. Let's quickly go back and see if the Docker image is, yeah, so it's building a Docker image now. This is the image that I'm going to use. Let me go ahead and start because I know it takes some time. So Minikube again is a free application which lets you, basically it gives you the Kubernetes cluster, if you know what that is. And or in simple terms, it gives you the oven to bake your app, as simple as that. In other words, your Kubernetes pods can be um, spun under this, which is what I'm going to show you in a minute. So my Minikube is up, but I just want to make sure my, okay, so Docker build also succeeded here. So this is what I was talking about, the CI/CD pipeline, wherein basically if you made, I just made a very simple change, but it automatically got kicked in. I did not do anything for that. And now I can go ahead and take that image. And so all of that is here. This is the CI/CD pipeline I was talking about. And then now I'm just simply going to implement it in Kubernetes using two replicas. You can give one, you can give three, you can go four. That again depends on your use case, where you're working in your company. It really is dependent on that. So in my case, I'm giving two replicas and I'm going to now apply AWS deployment. I know this part is a little bit boring, but you have to understand this before going further. So as you can see, containers are getting created because I gave replicas as two, so both are coming up. And once it is done, so first one is running, second one is running, that's good. And sorry. Now what you can do is you can do kubectl get pods, and then you can exec into one, which is you can go inside one. I want to show you all our code is now inside a kubectl pod, which is up and running. So Flask, scraper, let's do the second one, dash dash bin and bash. So there we go. We are inside our pod, and the code that you see is fully deployed. It's fully inside a Kubernetes pod. Kubernetes will automatically take care of it if we want to spin this. And because there are two replicas, if one replica goes down, it's automatically the second one is gonna come up. We don't have to worry about it. So now, again, I'm inside the Kubernetes pod. If I run the same thing, so right now, this happened not from my local files. Even if I deleted this, it will still work because everything is in the cloud now. Everything is in the Kubernetes deployment, and it works exactly like the way. If you want to see the version that I have there, so I gave it Python 3.11. If you're interested, where is it? No, not here. Mm, yeah, here it is. So that's why it is picking up that particular version, but you can choose any version and stuff. So essentially, your code, your full application is up in the cloud using Kubernetes, and you can spin this pod up. You can use this pod as you want to use. You can run directly from here. You can send emails out. You can do whatnot. That is the beauty of Dockerization and completely putting it inside an orchestration tool like Kubernetes. Again, if you don't understand how Kubernetes work, that is not what I'm going to talk about in the program. I'm just showing you. And again, it's very easy. It's not something that people kind of make DevOps a very big thing. Honestly, that's my view, but I think it's just a set of tools, and these tools keep changing. I've been in this industry for 20 plus years, and I've seen so many tools come and go. So tomorrow it could be something else. Like we don't use Jenkins, but Jenkins is one of the same tools which will do the same CI/CD pipeline for you. Again, it's just a different tool. You just need to understand how that works and how that is basically. All right. Any questions before I go to the final demo for the AI? I know a lot of people want to look at that. But any questions I can take while I take a small water break? Feel free to unmute or put it on the chat.
Okay, Sudeep here. Sorry, I'm asking another question, but
No,
would
no, go
you
ahead.
also help
Sorry.
us with the
Mhm.
GitHub setup and how
Yes.
to use GitHub? Okay.
So yeah, GitHub. No, how to use GitHub is a very small thing. You can do it yourself. But yes, the setup I will, and this will be. See, my aim is that when I give you this code, right, or when I show you this code, you should be able to take this and enhance it a lot more because that's what you want to show. And actually, you brought a good point up. I don't know if most people know this. Some working people might know. In today's world, most big companies want to see your actual code in GitHub. So, and there's a term, I don't know again if you guys know this or not. Actually, I didn't knew it. We launched another service on my website, which is for resume and stuff like that. So I have a very close friend who works in Amazon as a recruiter, and she told me they don't even use LinkedIn, they don't even use Indeed or anything like that. They rather use GitHub for sourcing. There's a term called GitHub sourcing, Git sourcing or something like that. So people of big, and she works for Amazon. So people in big companies, they are looking for your actual code, your the real work in GitHub. And don't get me wrong, you don't have to start with a very big project. You have to start building your profile in GitHub with simple projects like these, but keep enhancing it. So yes, I tell you how to do that, and of course, I'll leave you with this. And once you create more enhancements, so for example, you create another py file here, then automatically your pipeline will be kicked in just like I showed you. So yes, to that.
Yeah, actually, you are right. One of my friend, he's a recruiter in Google. He was telling me these days they look the
Yes.
resumes with their GitHub link.
Yes, yes, that's a true fact. And if anybody is not interested in this or interested to explore more, go to my website. There is a specific section. And my friend is really, really great. We have had some success for some people who have done that, taken those. I mean, when I spoke to her and when I go through her calls with the people, I also learned a lot of things. I never knew sources are looking at these things these days. But I used to tell them way behind, not behind, way back when I was doing those trainings. Again, the example for my first guy, Satya, I told him, bring up your GitHub profile, bring up your hackathon. But at that time, I didn't knew that these are something that people actually look at. But I always told him when you're not getting calls or when you have to answer questions like, hey, you are a non-IT person, why should we give you this? So that is when you show your GitHub profile and show your hacker rank profile. And that's how you build confidence in the interview that yes, you can actually do it. But nowadays, like I said, it's already happening that they are looking at it. So you go to more and you go to career coaching. So this whole thing is for those services. She does a lot of things. I don't know some terms. For example, there's something called as ATS. That's their tool. So she gets you through cross. Basically, she writes a resume for you herself, wherein you'll get to jump the ATS somehow. And she explains it very well. The first call is free, so I always ask people to use it. Again, you always go through Sachin, the admin guy I told you about, and he will create your first free call with her, and you can obviously understand and see if that is something for you. But having said that, yes, that's a very valid question and that's a very valid point. And like he also said, um, most recruiters these days are actually using GitHub and HackerRank to even shortlist you. All right. Any other question before I go to AI demo? Yes, Vatsala Upadhyay, I'll talk about the pricing, but I really highly recommend reaching out to that number for pricing because he has a lot of deals that are running. There are a couple of DMs, so I'm just going to answer those. Yes, I believe I already answered that part where I said why you need Python. And okay, so you already got the answer. Okay, this is all DM, guys. You might not be seeing it. There's a question in the everyone chat. What is the learning track path for architects or senior professional moving to corresponding senior roles in AI without starting from scratch yet have the relevant expertise in AI? This is a question from Swami Nathan. So, Swami, you have a very loaded question. let me, is he there? Yeah, he's there. Let me answer this question in parts, right? So first of all, there is no learning track or path that is designed for architects specifically. If you're asking in terms of like, I know, I don't know how many of you would remember, there used to be CCNAs and all those certifications. So there were used to be paths like that. But believe it or not, I am a person who's never done any certification. I'm totally against certifications for some reason. I have a very strong opinion about it, but that's a different thing. So there is no track as such. But what I'll tell you, or in my opinion, because I'm one and I made my way through this, the way you get to that path is number one, knowing your product well, because that's the easiest way to get onto architect. If you're expecting to go out in the market and get a job for an architect, it's going to be very difficult. So I highly recommend, and this is again my personal experience also, first try to get an architect role in your current organization, because many reasons. First, you know the product, right? You've been working on that product. Because I'm assuming if you're trying for architect, you've been in the company for a while, or at least in the role for a while. So you know the product very well. So master that product. That is first, of course. Second, most important thing, and which is what I did, propose, because that's what architects do a lot. Propose and implement. That is very important. You have to implement prototypes. So propose and implement things, and specifically you asked, your second part of question is AI. What do you call it? Projects in AI. Again, relevant to your product. I can't talk too much about my product because again, that goes into other issues. But I'll tell you my example. So my company was paying heavily, heavily meaning, just to take an estimate, it was paying 100K USD every year, per year, per what is it called, license, for a particular tool. And one person, if takes one license, he's on to it for at least a month. So our QA team was not able to basically use this more, because you can understand 100K USD is a lot. And you can't just take one license. You have at least, we have at least 40, 50 QAs in that team, and at least 10 of them were using. So we're really talking about a million here. So my then VP, he actually asked me, Ankit, and that time I was not an architect. I was a principal or something like that. And he asked me, Ankit, is there any way we can, do something to reduce this at least? So go through all the use cases, see if there is everywhere this tool is needed or not. And then I started working towards it, and I started exploring open source. A lot of them. And this is a time when there was no chat GPT. I had to do it all by my own. Nowadays, it's much easier with chat GPT. Excuse me. So I spent a lot of time on research. I spent a lot of time on prototyping myself, and I finally came up with an idea where I came up with the very first version, which was a very small version, all by myself, which was doing a lot of what this tool does. Of course, you can't mimic a tool which is 100K, right? Not that quality as well. But important point is you have to propose a plan that will work on your product, that will, after implementation, that will save dollars to your company. If you can come up with that idea, the beauty now is you have AI, and I'm going to go on the next demo for that only. You can leverage AI like anything for such use cases, and that will eventually create your path towards architect roles. And that's how even I got my architect, and then within a year I got into senior architect. I was a I was the first one in my organization. There was no uh, architects in my organization back in the day. So they had to literally create a role, because they asked me to get into director role, and I said no, I like hands-on role. I don't want people management. So if you're somebody like me who wants to work in code and architectural level kind of a thing, propose solutions, propose and implement solutions, then of course this is a very important track, and use AI for your best leverage. So I hope I answered a bit of that. If not, I'll come back to it more details, but let's go ahead and understand the main part, which everybody has been waiting for. That is, how am I going to use this? Why is this not clearing up? Towards AI, right? Because everybody wants to learn AI these days, or everybody wants to see how am I going to use AI at my work. And that is something I've seen as a gap, which is I was saying I will be coming up with another series, but that's only for non-technical people, where people understand how to actually use AI and get better results. But here, what I'm going to show you in the demo as well, and I'm going to tell you. So let's just actually directly dive in. So take this example, right? For sorry, for example. So everybody, this is a very generic example, very short one. I literally created it yesterday before the demo. So something which is very common, right? We have raw text flying around everywhere, meetings, emails, Slack messages, logs, anything where there is raw text. And that is called unstructured text because somebody can just ping you, hey, can you set up a meeting at 9? Hey, can you take notes for this? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? So, what you can do using AI, and that's why my tagline AI is the engine, Python is the wheel. That is very important to understand. So, most people think that if I give the right prompt, and that's why they get hooked to those prompt engineering ads. I also see those every day on Meta, and I fail to understand why people even do that. Because prompt engineering is just a marketing term. There is nothing called as prompt engineering, first of all. And I'm saying this on record, by the way. So I'm telling you from my experience as well as this. Prompts are great only for personal use. Use them, or companies expect you to use them for your own good. For example, make your vacation plans and whatnot, right? But at work, prompts break very quickly. That's a something that's an experience that I'm telling you. And prompts do not do your work. That's why my website also says we make the kids think in Python so that they can apply later AI, and that's the most important thing. So what are the real challenges when you face at work with prompts specifically, right? Because I'm sure everybody has GPT or some sort of LLM prompts available at their work. So first of all, they're manual, right? You go manually and type your prompt, and you may think it's a small issue, but it's actually a very big issue. But they're inconsistent. You will give one prompt, the other person will give another prompt as per their understanding, and most people think it's a clash of who gives a better prompt, but that's not true at all. And secondly, most important thing, which is with respect to work, is they do not scale. That is a main thing, right? Now, what do companies need? Companies need repeatable, automated, validated, and 100% hands-on free automated systems. And that's where Python comes in. They cannot, and that's why I keep telling people when they say, oh, AI is taking our jobs, I say, no, they're not. If you use them wisely for your benefit. So it's funny. I just take 2 more minutes to tell you a story. This happened with me at work almost 2 years back when we were embracing AI. And I was asked to give a presentation, and I was not able to understand how do I start with. So there is something I use there, and it has stuck with me. I always say this. So consider AI, anything, LLM, any chat GPT, any code pilot, whatever you have at work, as a fresher who's fresh out of college. He knows programming very well. He knows programming better than you, I'm sure. And he knows a thing or two, but use him for your own good. Train him, right? And make sure the best part about, or the best difference that comes out here is once a real fresher from college is trained, he will not look back to you. He will be becoming a competitor for you. But this guy, once you train him accordingly, what you want, and this training, I'm not talking about prompt at all. No, absolutely no prompt talking. That doesn't train the models. Once it is trained for your work, you will be able to use it like anything. And that's what we've been doing in our company. So without going in too much detail how those things work, let me just give you a brief idea. So what does my Python wheel does here? So AI is of course doing the kind of heavy lifting, you can say. But again, that heavy lifting doesn't help in any case if you're not able to showcase it properly how the companies want, because then it again depends 100 people doing the giving the same prompt, but that's not what we need. So with Python wheel, we are going to make this car or make this engine work. That's the main thing. So what do we need? What do companies need? They need structured output, no unstructured data, no unstructured text flying around here and there. What is that? That is either JSON. From JSON, you can convert it into CSV. This is a very, very common use case. Whenever you talk about huge logs, huge meeting minutes, you can say, for example, huge emails. You see nowadays those things, right? Where Gmail has also started, if you guys have noticed. When you get an email, you open it on the top, it says AI summary. So something on those terms is what I'm going to show you in a minute about the demo. But you have to understand. So let me give you an example also at the same time. Imagine you are in a meeting and someone shares a messy block of notes. Like, this is what I figured, this is what I got it. It has all names, dates, action items, right? And that's why I came up with this idea. We were doing it internally as well. Me and two of my admins, that when do we do the demo? When do we do this? And they're all mixed together. How will you take relevant data out of it? So AI is great at understanding that piece of text. It can literally read it like a human being. But understanding alone doesn't help your company, right? I hope you guys are following this. The understanding part is not alone that the company is looking for. The real question is, how do you turn that understanding into something useful? Even in my previous example, like I was showing you guys, this is something that today you can ask AI to do. Yes, you can. It will give you almost what I'm showing you. But how do you use it to showcase? That is the most important thing. So you use AI for your benefit, but the thinking, that's why I kept the name this. Thinking has to be done by you in Python because Python enables you to do that. Again, I'm repeating, prompts are great for personal use, but at work, companies are not looking for just prompt engineers. That's why I hate and I highly recommend, don't ever fall into trap of those prompt engineering ads because they are useless. Nobody's going to give you any value out of it, right? So again, AI is the engine that will understand our messy language, messy real world data, whether emails, meetings, notes, logs, whatever you call it. And then Python is the wheel that will control this AI. So literally, this is fed here, this is fed here, and then you get here, which is what I'm going to show you in this demo now. So just a word of caution, it may or may not work, but I'm going to show you a couple of different versions. The reason it is because ChatGPT sometimes um, cribs about the tokens if you use too much of them. And don't worry about it, what it is, but I'm just going to give that as a disclaimer. So again, what is happening here is, in my example, AI is able to read the minutes, for example, right? So this is actually what happened. We discussed something back 3, 4 days back, and I thought, why not use this as a demo itself? That we discussed, when should we do a demo? We should use Zoom. So this is the first time I'm using Calendly with Zoom. I know most of you guys would have received that link. So that idea came from Sachin. Then Crystal was saying we should still use Zoom and stuff like that. And then finally I said, let's do it. And let's do a demo on January 30, 9 p.m. So this was actually a Zoom meeting and the notes were everywhere. So this is what our raw text in real life would look like as well, right? And then of course, this is a prompt I gave to, this is just to show you, not really um, let me come back here. So this is the first part was this raw text. Now I'm showing you what I fed to the chat GPT and I'm going to do it right now in front of your eyes. And all this is doing is, again, this is all Python code, as you can see, .py file. This is again going back to my original thing that I was saying. You need to understand object-oriented language very, very importantly, because if you don't know that, you probably can't even explain this simple line. And if you can't do that, you can't do half of what this code is doing. Again, you are making Python use AI. You're directly dealing with the what is it called? ChatGPT, OpenAI, OpenAI's API. Let me be very clear here, not using different words. So using that, and of course, JSON is a framework in Python. CSV is a framework already in Python. What we're going to do with that is we're going to parse the AI response that we get out of this prompt. Like I said, we have to make the thinking more meaningful. We can ask the prompt, we can get the prompt answer back, but how are we going to use it? That's where we need all these, right? And this is just for OpenAI. So JSON just lets you pass the AI response. CSV lets you save it in the rows file, which is what I'm going to show you in a minute. What happens here, and then this is nothing but your SDK or the client that calls the API, right? And this particular part basically also does little bit more, which creates an object. It reads your open API key. Don't worry about it if you don't know what that is. Just think of it as creating a connection to your OpenAI service without actually going to open chatgpt.com and putting a prompt there, right? And this is our unstructured data. So in real world, this is a very small example because I wanted to save some time and my tokens, because all of that part is paid. But again, in real time, this could be a very huge file, but complete raw data that you feed to ChatGPT. And this is only OpenAI ChatGPT right now. It can be tailored to anything. But this is realistic data. For example, I am taking a meeting notes kind of a thing, and it could be an email recap, it could be a Slack message, it could be any messy data that you come across every day. Then this is my instruction prompt, which I send to the AI, what I'm asking AI to do. Again, right, this has to be in a specific format, and it's a very specific prompt that I'm saying return only the JSON. But right now, the concept that I'm trying to tell you is don't worry about this. What you have to figure out is that when we do this and when we write this data in the CSV file, AI will behave as the extraction engine. It will extract data from it. That AI is very good. ChatGPT is very good. By AI, I mean that. But it's not a chat buddy yet. So we are going to force a schema on it using Python. And that's when, where is my response? Here it is, the next piece of the code. This response, so let me break it a little bit more. Again, I'm using 4.0 mini. I'm not using GPT-5 because this is not that huge data or anything. It's a cost-effective model. Like I said in the beginning, disclaimer, this is the only paid version, but I paid like only 50 cents or something for every token. But I had to do it for this demo. So this is a very cost-effective model for extraction demos. Again, this is also one part, and those people who are already using this at your office might relate to it. So you guys might have seen something called an MCP server where, again, every company is doing it in a different way. My company is doing this way. It shows you what one query you sent and what response we received. Along with that, it shows a dollar value. Generally, it is something like dollar 0.11, meaning cents, basically. This is something what I'm talking about here as well. Uh, I think most of you would have seen it if you've used ChatGPT at your work or any LLM at your work. But having said that, don't worry about it. So this is what now I'm going to ask or set the rule that I want this in JSON only using Python, and I want the excuse just need a water, sorry. Yes. So this is what I'm telling using Python that I want it in the raw text. So now, so far till line number 34, what we are doing is we are not chatting with ChatGPT like we normally do, right? We just get prompts, we are waiting for the response, then we go back and chat with it. Now we are actually calling a model like a backend service, you can say. And this is how you develop your programs at your work. And this is how where it is needed to be using AI for work. Now again, output text is nothing but what you want to, this is the response basically that we get. And then finally, we use Python again for loading it into a dictionary. Again, we talk about all those stuff later. But now your system, at the end, your system is saving it into a spreadsheet. You can also use BI tools. If you're from BI background, you can use databases, you can use pipelines, like you can pick in a pipeline like I was showing earlier with CI/CD. That is all governed by Python. So let me quickly run it before we run out of time because we are already. I hope I don't run into the token issue. I didn't. So as you might have seen, this is my CSV that is generated. So look at the task and look at the different output that we received. So messy data going through ChatGPT prompt, coming back from ChatGPT prompt, Python making most use case out of it, and finally automating it into a CI/CD pipeline if needed. Again, so it's a JSON cleanup, you can say, kind of a thing. And of course, we add more details to it when we do it. Also, I know we're running on low on time, but I wanted to show you you can actually do this. This was a challenge given by Sachin to me that can you actually do this without AI completely. So as you can see here, I'm not even importing OpenAI, right? So you can, if you're good in Python, you can do the exact same thing using Python as well. And this is where the real, let me run this also. There you go. It created task.csv and see almost exactly the same way. And this is where the real answer to that architect question that Swaminathan asked me earlier lies. That are you able to save us that cost somehow? If you can, by giving the same result, if you look at the result, they're pretty much same, then you are a great programmer. And that's why Python with AI is still something of a skill which you always need. Again, this is no prompt engineering. This is an actual Python program that calls the API for the AI model, whatever we are choosing. The AI reads the messy text. It returns a structured JSON, Python that validates the JSON structure, converts it, or saves it into CSV because other systems can use it. And again, going back to my punchline, here AI is my engine. So consider it as a big car. Python is the wheel. You cannot run the car with just the engine. Engine being a very important piece of it, but again, you definitely need the wheels for it to actually run. And that's where my whole idea about the course is that Python is still very important for you to learn, especially when you want to integrate your work with AI. All right. So time for questions. I know I'm running a little bit too much on time, but please feel free. I'm going to be here. Whoever wants to stay back and ask questions. Ask questions, as many questions. Now you can unmute, put it on chat, whatever you feel like. Questions number here.
Um, One question I have, maybe little early to ask, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, can I create a Python program which, when I execute that py file,
Mm-hmm.
it can take a input from a Excel sheet,
Mm-hmm.
like let's say I execute the program and then it says, okay, give me the Excel sheet name,
Right.
and or I already define a path in my program that you have to pick the Excel sheet from there. Okay.
Correct. Yes,
So
absolutely.
let's say if I give the Excel sheet name as Sudeep123, so
Mm-hmm.
I have to pass the name in the program at the prompt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it can take an input, convert it, and then do the job what I'm going to ask it in later.
Absolutely. And that is something which that's what I was looking for my PDF. We cover a lot about how you will do with file handling, because file handling is
Okay.
basically what this is all about. So let me show you quickly. But the answer is absolutely yes. And I'll give you a much better answer for that. Give me a second. Where is file handling? Should be here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Right, so I definitely I tell how you read a file, how you create a file. So that is the first part to your answer, that yes, you can do any files, not just Excel. But the refinement to your answer to your question is, you can actually, whatever you said, right? You read the Excel, of course, then you read the contents, you play around with it, whatever you want to do, and then you post back into any format. Could be an Excel, could be a JSON, could be anything that you want to use in your company. But here's the part, the demo that I was showing you, right? Exactly what you're saying. So here, instead of this, now your use case becomes CSV. So you read the CSV exactly like I was telling you. Instead of the raw text, we'll read the CSV from there, and you feed it to your GPT at your work, or whatever LLM it is. Again, I keep saying GPT because I use GPT a lot. And let
Yeah.
GPT do that work for you. Why you do it, right? Because you can still do it, like I was showing you the no AI version. But if you have GPT and you want to use AI, why not? Let AI do it. You just have to give the right prompt. And then when AI responds back, again, the same thing. This is exactly the use case that you are saying is what I'm demoing. Wherever for whichever format you want, you can use Python to give the output in that format. So 100% yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Sanket.
Yeah, no problem. I like your questions. Okay, so I have some DMs. Is there a self-learning course with same recording? No. So I don't believe in those video-based courses. I mean, of course, I can give you. So somebody's asked me this in DM. I'm not taking the name because people might don't want to like that. So answer is no, because I can actually make money. I can give you my previous recordings, right, without even going through this trouble. But that's the whole idea for me. So let me show you guys. So this is how we share our all the videos. Here are the real videos, and actually, people who will go through later also, you can see a real video from here. Just toggle this. This is an actual live class from December batch. So you can also see it's not just in this demo or just in sample class that I'm talking about, but this is an actual paid class. We just made one video public so that you can see my style and you can see how I actually teach as well. And this is not just for that. So coming back to the question, so for me, it's very easy. These are all private. I can just simply add your email ID and give it to you. But I don't really like that because I understand you have other priorities as well. But I would say for the days you can attend, please attend. And anyways, you have the recordings. For the days you don't, you can go through the recording, especially on weekends. And you can ask me questions directly because with the recordings, you don't get all of that, right? It kind of defeats the purpose. So please go through the recordings if you missed the class. But again, ask me the questions directly and make sure you learn code optimization live through me. That is very, very important. So I hope I have answered that question. Yeah, recordings on the classes is I understand what you mean, but that is available. I'm not denying the fact that it's not available, but I'm just saying it's not very highly recommended by me because then you don't get the actual value of it. I hope you understand the point. Uh, Another DM. Could you please tell me the career path for one who wanted to get into IT? I worked in non-IT before for 9 years. I wanted to kickstart my career. Yes, Santoshi. So I don't know how when you joined. But if you joined late, I was talking about the same example. And it's not easy. Let me first give you the hard truth, but also it is not impossible because there are people who have done it. Let me show you here. The first guy, he's my favorite of all time. He's there in one of our groups as well. Uh, Not here. Here. This is the guy I'm talking about. He is in LinkedIn right now as a senior engineer. He had 15 years of non-IT, completely non-IT experience. He had no idea anything about Python. And I bring him every time because he's my favorite student of all time. He never missed one class, always gave assignments. I wish I can show you the WhatsApp screenshots I have. He keeps on asking me, Ankit, this is what I've done. Do you think I could optimize it more? And I keep going back and telling. So, point is, I am opening up myself. Most instructors don't do that. They're like, no, no, no. You send the assignments directly in the chat, whoever answers and all that. No, I'm asking you to send it to me so that I can give you the exact advice for you with my whole soul experience. So that is something which very few instructors would allow. So absolutely yes, but it's not a very straight or very direct 5 week shortcut path. I'm sorry, I was about to say the name, but the person who DM'd me. Um, but if you do it the right way, absolutely doable, and many people have done it, including Sachin, by the way, who's my admin. He was one of my previous students long time back, and he actually forced me to start this on my own banner. I used to do it with another company in India, and he started from a non-IT background. So first he went into QA, then now he's actually interviewing for Amazon and Google at the same time. But it took time, is what I'm trying to say. He built his profile. He built his profile both in GitHub as well as on his personal resume. So, especially for somebody like you, non IT, 9 years experience, it is not going to be very easy. I'm telling you the right, unvarnished truth. Even if somebody is saying it is possible, I would not say that because I have seen many people fail and get into those traps. So my real answer is yes, it is possible, but it's not going to be an easy path for you. And I am there to help you. Of course, that is not like I'm going to charge you extra or anything. I will definitely tell you what you should do, how you should do, the extra projects you should do. I can give you all that information, but you should be the driver. And if you do that, send me code. Hey, Ankit, I'm stuck here. Perfectly fine with me. Don't worry about it. Even if I need to go on extra calls with you, I'll do that. I do that for all my students, not just for somebody like that. So I hope I've answered your question. I got to drop. Thank you for the demo. Oh, Sudeep, yeah, go ahead, please.
Um, I think you already answered, but my question was like post course. I know,
Hmm.
like I don't have like any experience in Python, and I'll be on my own, which I'm
Hmm.
not saying no, but again, I'm not asking for a spoon feed, but if I'm
Hmm.
stuck somewhere, can we get like some kind of a help later on after
Oh,
the course?
absolutely. Beautiful question. I wish somebody had asked it earlier. Excellent. So I say this every time, and I think I forgot it this time because I wanted to show a lot more, and I know people start getting bored after 1 hour. So this also goes as one of my USP. What Sudeep I think was asking. With this course, it's not like you just do the 5 week or 6 week course and we are done. You are always connected with me, and we also add you to a group which we have only for our people. That is, and I actually call it learning never stops, where I every day, and that's where these previous students are also there. So you can actually ask them later that how they made their journey. But having said that, I share a lot of code there. Of course, it's free to join for all our students, and you keep on practicing, because some people, what I've seen is they enroll the course, but they immediately don't use it in their work. They want to learn, but they're not able to. So that keeps your learning continued. That is first point. Second point, like I said, you're always connected to me. Anytime you face any issues, I always like a challenge. Like I was telling, right, this style.css. So this was actually asked by one of my previous students only. Can you do that? And I added him in the during the capstone project classes. So of course you can ask me anything, anytime. If I've not worked on it, which is very few packages that I've not worked, like somebody was asking about Terraform. It's one of my competitors. I don't work for Google. I wish I was, but I work for one of the competitors. So we don't use GCP or Terraform or anything like that. So that is a separate thing. But anything Python related, absolutely, every time available, and I keep on adding those to the future demos that I do. So absolutely yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. I got referred by one of your ex-student and she told me the same thing.
Oh, okay. Nice. Who's that student? I want to thank her. You
Let
can DM
me,
me the name. Yeah,
yeah,
you can DM me the name.
okay.
Sure. Thank you, Sudeep. Appreciate it. All right. Anybody else has any other question? I know it's really late.
Yeah, this is Nancy. I just wanted to ask
Sure.
the part which, the one which captured my attention for the whole course. At the beginning, you said that we all know, we all have all the AI tools available, but
Hmm.
the real value get delivered when you are actually able to build something which can run on its own,
Exactly.
right? So,
Okay.
so I wanted to know that as a part of this course, I mean,
Hmm.
um, so I know you used OpenAI, but then there are other
Hmm.
platforms and models available like AWS
Correct.
Bedrock and all. So will you be, as a part of this course, giving us few demos on, not demo, but actually teaching that no matter which LLM model or whatever comes right from the LLM world, but we will still be able to
Yes.
implement it and.
Right. So that is the exact idea that I have. This is just for example, right?
Mhm,
The other one also, this one scraper, for example, is just, where is my, so this is all Flask and Beautiful Soup. These are just examples. Tomorrow, Beautiful
mhm,
Soup might be, taken over by something else. Like for initially, Pandas was not there. We used to use SciPy a lot. Now Pandas is there.
mhm,
So the idea is you understand how to use it. Then whether you
mhm,
want to use it with any LLM, so of course the OpenAI will become different. Where is that? Oh, here it is. This will be whatever LLM you're using, right? And then of
mhm.
course
Yep.
the code will not be 100% same, but it will be something similar. So that's why. So actually, it's a good question. Let me show you. When I start itself, right? Let me show you, and you'll understand in a minute, because I like to showcase a lot. So Flask, like I said, right? So that's how you start. You start Flask documentation, and I always tell, don't go with all these things. The best way to go is, and you'll learn all this when we go to the classes, through here, because you don't want
Mm.
to get into traps. So go to Flask documentation. I'm just taking Flask because this is the right way that you can understand and see from your eyes.
It's good you took this example because all these ones
Yeah.
I've seen at work, others, using them, but they have always been such a big uh,
Yes.
black box for me, and I really want to break that barrier
Yeah.
because yeah.
Actually,
So.
I was saying in between, right? I saw a person called Venki. He's my one second. He's my previous student. I don't know why he was here. Maybe he was just here for the support. He would have actually answered the same thing because he joined
Mm,
exactly because of this. I don't know why this
mm,
is not showing right now, but let me show you the actual documentation. And this is what we do when we go to the very first day of our project, right? We don't
mm,
need Python version, quick start. And of course, right now I'm rushing up because I don't have
mm.
too much time, but I'll
That's
explain
fine.
everything when we go there. So there you go. If you look this code, literally copy paste it, and this is how we start our app.py, and then we go from here. So this is the same
Mm.
code. Same code if you see. Let me bring that here. Right, app.route
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and then I say change the hello world, and now we bring our stuff. So I take one example of and then I explain how we start from there. Now tomorrow you may not be Flask, you may be using Django, you may be using something else. Just like your question, you may not be using
Mm.
OpenAI, but you might be using something else. I think somebody
Yeah.
else also asked a similar question. So there you go. You need to understand two very important things. One, Ankit, how I go through the documentation, like I was just showing you. And again, in
Yep.
real class, it will be a little longer. And second, when I can, literally copy paste code, how I'm going to understand that code and change it accordingly. And once you know that for one particular framework, there you go, you can do it for any framework. And same thing for any LLM model. So that, of course, little bit things will different. So for example, Django doesn't give you route, but it give you views.py, and it's the same thing there. So little
Mm.
bit things will always keep changing because that's why there are different frameworks, right? And the
Yep.
enhancements keep coming, things change. Today's Flask, tomorrow it could be something else. And again, Flask is for smaller applications, Django is for very big application, like my website I was showing. So the use case is like numerous, endless, right? And nobody can cover all the use cases. But that's my whole idea. You should not be dependent on me. Support is different. Of course, I'll be there for your support if you get stuck. But you should
Mhm.
not be dependent on me that, hey, Ankit didn't teach me how to integrate with, for example, Copilot. So I can't do it. No, that's not the whole idea. My goal is for you to learn things so that you are able to do it. And then if you get stuck, of course, Ankit is there, like I said, even after the
Yep.
course. That has nothing to do with the course.
Sure. That's
Mhm.
reassuring. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, I can take one more question before I wind up, if anybody has. How much will be the class? Yes, so Sapphire, your question, like I was saying, right, it's better to check. I don't want to give a figure and then later have something. Please reach out to this number, and he will give you the best possible thing. He works with, he's really a nice guy. I mean, he's my student, but he's really a nice guy. I don't know, your name sounds familiar. Does your kid also, or maybe that's some other Sapphire? I don't know. I have a parent whose name is Sapphire too, and her kid is in our kids' class. Her name is also Sapphire. So, everybody, the number on the screen, you can please text him, WhatsApp him. His name is Sachin. He's all ready. He's 1 hour before me, so he'll be happy to answer all the questions if you have more.
One last question, can I?
Sure, Sudeep. Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
For the kids classes, you said the curriculum is same or it's
Oh,
different?
no, 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 no. It's very different. That can't be this. So let me point you there. So I also started teaching with
Because
a
I think my
school.
son is interested, so he's sitting next to
Sure,
me, so
sure.
he will learn as well.
It's actually funny. You said that one of my previous students, he was going through my recording on one class and he told me this. His son is in fourth grade and we start from fifth grade. So his son said that, he wants to learn this. And he asked me, he's in fourth grade, can you still get him in fifth grade? I said, yeah, we can try a couple classes. And you won't believe he's the best student in that whole grade. So yes, you never know. So yeah, here is the thing. You go to courses, then go to either kids or view all. Oh no, what did I mess up? Ah, So here's for grade 5 and 7. So I do all the way from 5 to 12, and then this is for 7 to 10. So this is generally treated as a 2-year plan. But of course, you don't have to be stuck with me for 2 years. The pricing goes month to month or 3 months or 6 months. I think our most common is 6 months. People pay for that because it gives you some savings as well. But this one is really hot and people are really liking it because I have designed it in a way that kids start from Python. Again, every course that I do is always considering zero Python knowledge or zero coding knowledge. And they go all the way writing code in GitHub. In AI, they are actually going to write actual LLMs in this particular pathway. So this is a 2-year plan. And this is something which universities in US value a lot. And the whole idea is to get them through college or university scholarships, basically. So this is a very one, but not the 5 to 7. 5 to 7 is more on gaming side, like because these kids are young, they want to learn while making games and stuff like that. And again, I have all these demos right on the website if you want to look at it. So if you go here, there it is. So this is my actual class that this is a webinar that I did sometime back, and you can go through it. This is how the kids liked it. This is not relevant to you. This is for schools. But yeah, go through this section. And the curriculum, like I said, was in the either it's here or here. Yeah, here it is. Right?
Understood. Thank you.
Sure. All right. If no more questions, then let's finish the call. Again, I really thank everyone. I appreciate the time. I know it's a little late for especially people under the EST time zone, but I really appreciate you guys coming up and sticking with me till the last. I know it went more than 1 hour as planned. But again, with me, the course also goes like that. I always end up giving extra stuff, teaching extra stuff, and the same thing goes with demo as well. If you still have any questions, feel free to reach out to Sachin at this number. And if you need to talk to me, you can do that. He will patch the call or he will somehow do it. And classes start on Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to enroll, please ask him. And the payment is very simple. You can use Zelle, and it's a one-time payment. It's not like a monthly thing. It's not that big a course, and we finish in 5 to 6 weeks, around 25 classes. And every class is recorded. It's shared with you. I know it says here will be available for 90 days, but we are working with YouTube on something wherein we can enhance this. So hopefully this will be enhanced for our future people. But you cannot download the video because YouTube doesn't allow that. And this is going to be shared just with you. All those data will be shared once you make the payment. Sachin will add you to a WhatsApp group, and you will get all the instructions, including Zoom invites and everything right there. Assignments, the source code, everything will be shared there. All right, guys. Thanks again. And it was nice chatting with you guys. Bye for now.
Sachin, sorry, Ankit, before
Yeah,
you go, one more last
sure.
question. What would be the timing for daily class?
So it'll be, let me share that screen again. Depending on your time zone, Monday to Friday. Here it is.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Yep. So 9 p.m. ET, that's my time zone, but whichever time zone you are in. And if you're in
I'm in
India,
yours.
then you're in, sorry, which one? Eastern? Okay.
Uh, Eastern. I'm close to you, not so far.
Oh, where are you? Near Boston?
NJ?
Oh, you're in NJ. Oh, you are the
Yeah.
one who was referred by, oh, were you referred by Venki?
No,
Because
I was
he's,
referred by
oh,
Sakshi,
okay. Oh, yes, yes. Sakshi was our very first batch student. Now I know. Okay. Good.
but I
Yeah, I
lived
have
in
a lot of friend
Boston.
in,
I lived in
oh, okay.
Boston and Quincy.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Quincy is a full Desi hub. Good, good, good. Nice. Yeah, small world. I have a lot of friends in NJ. I used to live in NJ too, and I lived in Philly. So we
Okay.
quite often go to NJ. That's why I was asking Venki because I saw him also in the class. He's also from NJ, and he's actually from Edison itself. And he was in my
I'm in
last batch.
Parsippany, near
Ah,
Tappanzee
yeah.
Bridge.
Yeah, yeah, Parsippany. Yeah, I know NJ very well. Very, very well. We go there almost every 2 months at least. Good to know. Good, good,
Nice
good.
talking to you.
Yeah, we'll be in touch. All right, perfect. All right, guys. Talk to you later then. Bye for now. Thanks again for joining.
Good night. Thank you.
Yeah, good night.